for this session, I have a super cool friend of mine here that's going to talk us through taking videos, vlogs, skate videos, everything that they have experienced. Without further ado, this is Moonbear.
Yay!
Moonbear! If you haven't met Moonbear, she's been involved in a lot of very cool film projects. There are certain movies like The Skate Kitchen, the TV show Betty, but Moonbear also does a lot of work on her own. So I'll just let you describe yourself.
Okay, so I guess I would describe myself as a creative overall because I do like DJing, I do like skating, like YouTube, and I guess I want to work on a project instead of like acting. Like I want to make something. So I've been, doing that in a way like through YouTube, like just making my own videos, and then I have something in the works later, like a bigger thing. So yeah, that's what I do.
You mentioned YouTube. How did you get started on YouTube?
Oh, so it was like maybe 2015. I actually started making videos on YouTube when I was 12, but I've hidden all of them, and it's on a different channel. Like there's a bunch of like skateboarding things, but I think they're cringe, so I hid them, and I made the channel a different channel. But I got a little bit more serious kinda in 2015. I got which camera? I got this camera, and I was like, I basically used all my money to get it. But I was like, it'll be worth it. Like I want to film skateboarding. It'll be fun. So I was filming skateboarding, and then that was 2015, and then 2017 I was like, oh, I like YouTube a lot, and I was like, maybe I should do that again. So I saved money for like all the other equipment that goes with like holding the camera and just like having a tripod. And then I think as I did more stuff with Skate Kitchen, it kind of like more people were like going to the YouTube channel because they wanted to see like behind the scenes stuff, and I just usually document what I'm doing instead of like making like a story itself. But I think now I've been making more like specific content. Like the latest things I've been doing is like I've been making videos on like comparing these two cameras, and then there's another camera I have somewhere that I made a video about. But it's all based on like how to film like as like a skate vlog versus like everybody else is usually just like walking around doing lifestyle stuff. But no, I haven't really seen anyone do like, oh, this is how you film when you're skating, and like, yeah.
What got you into skateboarding?
The funny thing about this is like I was 12, I saw Tony Hawk, and I was like, I want to do that, I want to be pro. But later on I was like, I don't want to be pro. But technically, I guess people call professionals who get paid for it, that's like pro, so I don't know, I guess technically, but not in the like, I skated for a team kind of sense. And then the 180s of the story is that I've met Tony Hawk and skated with Tony Hawk a few times. And then one of the times I was like, I'm just gonna tell him that he's why I started skateboarding.
Oh, that's
yeah, and I got it on camera.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, you had Tony Hawk was featured on like one of the Betty episodes of it. So we'll walk backwards real quick. Origin story of Skate Kitchen. Actually, show of hands, has anyone in here seen Skate Kitchen or know what Skate Kitchen is?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. But for those who don't, what is Skate Kitchen?
Like the movie or the collective or?
Collective first, and then you can get your bragging rights on how it's a whole movie. Which is dope.
Okay, so it started back in like 2016. It was just like we were skating, and they were like, we're gonna make this Instagram page, and then we invited different people, and some people said no, and it was like okay, and then we like the more we did like projects with like traditional media, more people were like, oh shoot, there's girls skateboarding and like they look cool and stuff, and it just like snowballed, like to meeting Corral, meeting this person, like having all these brands being like, we want to work with them, we want to work with them. So we didn't intend for that to happen. It just happened by accident because everyone was just like, this is cool, like it's girls, like we want to see this. And that, so while that was happening, we were working with Crystal, and she's like, well, let's like do a short film first. This was like right in the beginning, short film. and then the Instagram page. And then we did because the short film did well, it was like, okay, let's do a movie. And then it was titled after Skate Kitchen, because like, it was like, what else are we gonna call it? And that was it.
I think it's interesting too that you got the opportunity to be like on camera, but even after that, you still wanted to be behind the lens.
Oh yeah, so when we were filming Skate Kitchen, I showed up every day, even if I didn't have a scene with this camera, because I didn't really know much about like more filmmaking. I would just be like, whatever. But like I showed up every day, and then everybody was like, oh, she's serious. So there was like the director and like the AD, like the assistant director, would be like, oh, it's supposed to be like this shutter angle, and that's the ISO, and like so. I just learned from just going and filming behind the scenes.
Yeah, you're like taking notes in the background. That's cool.
Because I think I learned better from actually doing stuff versus like going to school and they tell you this, but you don't actually do it. Yeah.
Was there anyone making like videos similar? Like, did you look up to anyone while you were making your YouTube?
I feel like around that time, I was just like skating a lot with different girls. Like I was skating with Cammie and Colleen and Lizzie, and I was just like, I want to film this and then do my own like business on the side, which is called Free My Boobs. Yeah. I don't think I saw too much content online. I didn't really look for it. When I started YouTube, it was more like I saw like that I could make videos, and I would watch different YouTubers that had nothing to do with skateboarding. It's kind of, I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah. What would you say was like the key to getting a following on YouTube and like traction?
I think this one was like, I just happened to be stuck with the Skate Kitchen, and then it happened to be going up, so it was just like, it just went like that. I was like watching it real time. I was like, this is crazy. Like 1,000 subscribers in like a week is crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of want to dive into the cameras that you used at the time.
Yeah. This is like a starter camera. I used it for 4 years. It was really good, and then I kind of outgrew it because there were things that I wanted to do that this camera doesn't have the features. So then I got this one in 2019. It's more for filmmaking, and I could do a lot more things with it. And then I had to learn more, and it was just like, oh, like this looks bad and that doesn't, and all that stuff. And I was like playing around with, they're called picture profiles, and it basically lets you make a different look if you just don't want to shoot with how the camera just does it by default. And then I have another camera my friend's using to shoot me with. That's Sony. And I got that in 2020 when I couldn't go to Japan. So I was like, let me buy a camera.
Do you have a specific brand that you like, camera brand?
Ooh.
I feel like when people are starting with like videography, there's Sony, Canon. How did you like choose?
I say that I was looking to get like a camera like this, and I was like, like the way I have to take everything off, I was like, that's gonna slow me down because I know myself. I was like, I need to go like this.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this one. I was like, okay, it has like these amount of features. It has 4K. I can do that. I was like, I'm gonna go with this one. It's not too much money. It's like $1,000 when I got it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use all my money and get this and see where it goes. So I got this one, and I didn't really see anything about Sony because I don't know what it was. I forget what led me exactly to this one, but I was like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
And then since I was already with Panasonic, this is Panasonic. This one was getting a lot of traction on YouTube because it could do so much that no other camera could do, but the only thing was the autofocus. Yeah.
You
So
had to manually focus that?
I don't really do that. It was just like sometimes it'd be like you can't really see, it gets blurry. But yeah, that's how I chose them. And then Sony was like, there's more videos coming out, and they fixed the issue with like, you see how the screen comes out? The other Sonys didn't have that. I think that's why I didn't like them. I was like, I need to see because I'm doing YouTube, and this one just happened to have this kind of screen, and it worked out for me. But yeah, that one you could shoot really low light and 120 frames in 4K. Like that's good slow motion. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll fast forward a bit. So you started off on YouTube, but now we obviously see people vlogging on TikTok, Instagram. What's your favorite like media channel to put your content on?
You know, for a little bit it was Instagram, but then with the pandemic, it felt kind of weird to see people still like posting like nothing was going on. So I kind of was like, and so it's YouTube again. It's something about it's just like different.
YouTube
Like
is
people, yeah, like people come to the comment section and they're saying like nice things because YouTube is like the most mature out of all of them. TikTok is like the newest one, so there's still a lot of like negativity in the comments. Like YouTube's kind of old now, so it draws in people know what they're like looking for and they just go straight to that and they stick with it and it's like building community better. And like TikTok is just like people just like
just
this,
yeah, it's like a very fast app. I think you touched on a bit. What's your camera that you use now?
The Sony A7S III.
What about phone filming? Do
Uh,
you ever make content with your iPhone or Google phone, whichever?
I did have Google for a long time, and then I switched to iPhone because it was easier to send people in the Skate Kitchen files. Like with the other phone, I had to go on Google Drive, then I could just AirDrop it to them. I did buy a phone 3 years ago for like, because I was gonna do more TikTok. So I got the 13 Pro. I don't really use it anymore for filming. I kind of do, like if I have it on me, I have that. I'm like, okay. But then also I have a little Sony now, like a tiny one to go with that one. For like when I need to zoom like crazy. So yeah, not really shooting on the phone like that.
Interesting. How would you define your style of like content creating?
It's different for each platform. I feel like Instagram is more like a portfolio, and then YouTube is more like documenting like the skating and making, I guess, more educational content now with like telling people which cameras and what it looks like when you're filming.
Well, we have a little bit of time if anyone has any like questions about making videos or anything, feel free.
So what would you say would be, like if somebody wants a high quality camera but is also like new to it and maybe wants something a little bit like more portable than this one that you use, do you have like any suggestions?
If they want to do filmmaking, I'd say go with like a Sony, one of the smaller ones. Like there's a Sony E10. That one's like $800 and it comes with a lens. But if you want to do like vlogs and you want like a really tiny one, like the other one Bruce is using that I use, that one's like $500. It's called the ZB1, and there's a ZB1 Mark II. Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self, your 12-year-old self that was making YouTubes before you like made it private? Because I did that as well, and I still, when I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll go back and watch like my old videos that I used to make or that I made for whatever sponsor that I had at the time. And they're all private now, but a part of me is like, why not share it? Like it was a moment in time that, you know, I used to express myself and express or show what my skate team was doing and stuff like that. So what would you tell your younger self?
It's hard to say because the other reason I guess I stopped because back then that's when YouTube was new and there was still like nasty people on there and they were leaving nasty comments on there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think how I handled it was pretty good for a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said you're working on a project, right?
Yeah, there's like I have this thing in mind that I want to do after I like gain more traction again on YouTube, because I can see where the traditional space benefits me versus like doing everything on YouTube only, and I still have connections in the traditional space. So I'm like I want to set that up and then pitch something over there while they're still holding on to people's attention. I feel like a lot more people watch their things on their phones, like TikTok, Instagram, all that, there's still shows on Netflix that get popular, but something about it is like I would rather have a mix of both.
So are you like also very much into editing? Like this comes with the territory?
Yeah, I am, but I have been having help from Bruce to edit. But that process is also like kind of therapeutic. It kind of reminds me of like when I'm teaching. It's kind of like, yeah, because you're making the story or like what people are gonna see before it goes out.
What's your favorite thing to vlog? Like, should it be like, is it skateboarding, is it fashion, is it gaming, or is it a combination of all three when you make your edit?
It's interesting because on YouTube I kind of did like lifestyle, but it was mostly skateboarding, and on Instagram it was like skateboarding, fashion, like lifestyle.
Okay, so you use different platforms for different types of people you're trying to attract.
Because YouTube was kind of like, they kind of have this thing where it's just gonna keep showing and people like show up for that specific thing. It's like if you were watching like, what show? I can't think of a show right now. And then it just switched to a different thing. You'd be like, what's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it keeps the theme of whatever.
Do you think videography changed your life?
I want to say with the help of skateboarding, yes.
Yeah, they go together well.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no more questions, I definitely want everyone to finish the skate session. Do you have licenses for this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, if you guys want to try out any of these cameras, feel free. This one is mine. It's like a little older, but it's fun for filming skating. It's a little heavier, and then MoonbearDiedHere has some HD ones. But yeah, thanks for pulling up to the video workshop. Thank you. We'll have Polaroids in here too. I'll get a picture of you.